Hey buddies, and finally the last output from me before the start of the league. And I love to make something weird even as the league start. And here is my ice crash to fire conversion Chieftain. As the base of the build, I've taken the Chieftain to check his defensive and offensive mechanics. I've taken this path with Tessello Cleansing Water for cold and lightning resistances and to be unaffected by Ignite, and Valaka Storm's Embrace for modifiers to maximum fire resistance to apply to maximum cold and lightning resistances. And as you can see, we're almost kept with fire resistance, so the data is not described here because these modifiers are not counted by the path of building, but we are sure that we are resistance kept because we have additional 147 overcapped fire resistance. As the offensive mechanic, I've taken the Tahoe's Forest Strength, which is approximately, it cannot be ever counted exactly, but your damage is multiplied by 1.5, so we have overall 3 million DPS with trash gear, and also Tokohama's War's Herald for the Feast of War, and this is outlined here, and I've made the manual Feast of War link here because the ascendancy doesn't count that. So we have the 7 link in our body armor, and we use Ice Crash, Feast of War from the ascendancy, melee physical damage. I've taken the Awakening Gems because they are really cheap, but for the count of that it's not really mandatory. Just melee physical damage, ally damage with attacks, call to fire as we transform all our cold damage to fire, fire penetration or awakened fire penetration, any you can get, and pulverize. I've taken the diversion pulverize. Without it, the damage will be less, but the overall mapping will be much smoother because of the attack speed. The basic setup with Wave of Conviction and Combustion for additional exposure and additional minus to fire resistance. Ancestral Wall Chief, Blood Rage. For auras, we have Precision Head, Red Herald of Purity, Blood and Sand. If you have mana problems, just skip Herald of Purity. Purity of Fire with Arrogance, because we utilize and our life pool and mana pool. Petrified Blood, Vitality, any level you can get to have the sufficient mana to cast our Ice Crash, and the Intimidating Cry for double damage as we use the Call to Arms to have our Walk Rise instant. And the tree is pretty basic, just all physical damage, attack speed and accuracy nodes with tons of life. Resurrection efficiency here with plus to maximum ally resistances. We also can have the last +1 to maximum fire resistance here. The new Fire Mastery, which is insane, free Ash covering. As we are slam skill, we can move very rarely, and that's why it's very easy for us to cover enemies with Ash, level Ash, which was previously here, maybe here, yeah. The Fire Mastery for increased damage with hits against ignited enemies, as we ignite our enemies very frequently. And we use Varunastra, the old baby. That's why we can take all the nodes of one-handed weapons. So we take this Sword Mastery for accuracy, attack speed, physical damage, and to gain frenzy charge when hitting unique enemies. Basic gels just to cap our chaos resistance and to have some life. This axe and this mace nodes all damage with maces and scepters will chill, and Varunastra is considered as mace 2, that's why it would chill. Some elemental mastery, we take this note here to have additional physical damage taken as chaos. This minor reservation notes some damage modifiers from here, which give us insane amount of damage. Life, elemental overload, this offensive circle, and some mana mastery for minor reservation efficiency and life. And the most interesting thing is our gear. Again, Varunastra, which is the great starter for nothing. I think 1, 2, 3 chaos at the start as the Rise of the Phoenix, the Insane Shield, which will provide us +5 to maximum fire resistance, tons of regeneration, +2 fire resistance, which will also affect our cold and lightning resistance, some movement speed, and etc. It's great just to have it with +2 to level of circuit AoE gems or aura gems to have our purity of fire to be +2 to get 5% additional maximum fire resistance. Heat shear for additional damage. There's no need to tell something else about this. Revoked helmet, again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chaos at the beginning. The cloak of flame just for defensive mechanics, for feast taken as fire. You can also take lightning coil, maybe any other body armor, but we'll have some problems with physical medication. We use the Pyre Ring for cold damage converted to fire. Again, at the beginning without elemental catalyst, it's the turbulent. I don't remember how it's called. So just Pyre in the combination with Call to Fire support gem and basic other stuff: gloves, accuracy, attack speed, life, feast to attacks, chaos resistance, boots with life regeneration. Amulet is the same. The belt is the same too. Taste of Hate for defensive and offensive mechanic. It gives us tons of positive things. And Lance Roar and 3 other basic gloves flasks. Sorry, you can take the life flask and maybe any other flask you want, maybe Wise Oak and etc. Watcher's Eye is more in-game thing, but here I've given the basic concept what we want to see there. Also would be great the implementation of Purity of Elements with additional feast taken as fire, and maybe in this slot we would like to have the Little Pride with some physical damage taken as fire. So that's all for today. Wish you good luck at the start of the league, and like, subscribe, leave your comments in the commentary section. Goodbye.